can get started.
Yeah. Just by looking at your LinkedIn recommendations alone, we're in good hands. It's totally obvious. And by the way, the companies that you've worked for, Pixart, one of them is, just one example of, you building your career in the best way. So my first question actually would be, what is SEO? Like, let's imagine that we have people in our audience that don't know what is SEO itself. So let's start from scratch. What is SEO?
All right. So we talk about the abbreviation itself. It's like the search engine optimization, which means that we are optimizing our website to rank higher for specific keywords, which our target audience is looking for on Google, on other search engines. But Google is one of the most popular search engine, as we all know, but SEO is limited to only. There is YouTube SEO, because YouTube is also search engine, right? It's just the content, there is video. Yeah. We have Bing, we have DuckDuckGo, etc. So all of them are considered like search engines. And we talk about why businesses need SEO and how it's going to help them. Well, if you have an audience that is looking for finding solutions that your business has something for them, it's going to be the SEO plus content marketing, where we'll dive into later during today's meeting. But yeah, it's basically the art of making your target audience to find your website, your web pages in the right way by doing some searches on, especially on Google.
Can we say that if Google didn't exist, SEO wouldn't have existed as well?
We could say that, but in the case if no other search engines would exist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because Google is the biggest one for sure, but there are also others like Yahoo, Rumbler, I don't know, Mail.ru, like all of them are also considered like search engines. But for sure, yeah, if search engines wouldn't exist, we couldn't say that there was anything like SEO.
Yeah. Okay, what is the importance of SEO in blog articles?
Okay, so I think we can start from talking about the connection of SEO and content, like how they are connected to each other, and then we can shift to like specifically blog plus SEO. Okay. So basically, when we're in the SEO world, we can't avoid working with content, right? We need to create content because whether it's a landing page or a blog article or a white paper, we need to create content because that's the asset that our target audience is going to interact with, and after which we are going to, get some conversions, sign-ups, whatever the goal is. So businesses must understand that SEO can't live without content, and content can't live without SEO. So business owners start to think about it. In the beginning, it's a bit hard to explain about the importance of the content, but while there are some results, and they see that the long-term investment of content is starting to pay off, which means that they're starting to get traffic, some leads, some paid conversions at the end of the day. They are starting to see, and that is the place where the puzzle is solved. So there is another aspect as well that should be considered for having, if we call it stress, like less stress. Because for most of the businesses, it's like, hey, we're investing in SEO for about 2 months, 3 months. What's next? Why we don't get traffic? Yeah. Especially when it's a new business, a new website, it's a big headache for the business. They're investing and investing. But at the end of the day, the race means the business, let's say in X niche, who understands the value of investing so much in the content. Because if you don't rank now, you're going to rank in a few months to do everything like in the right way. And yeah, for websites that already have some authority, for sure, it will be much faster to get these results, but just they need to be patient. Patient, it's crucial there. And yeah, this is about it, I think.
Yeah. I have just one remark before we move on. I have had so many cases when I was talking with a client, for example, and they were interested in a proper content marketing strategy, in investing time in a proper content marketing strategy. But what they didn't want to listen to is that it has to be so consistent and for at least 8 months if they, of course, just want to grow organically without any investment in performance marketing. And what we in our agency tell our clients upfront is that if you decide to go with the road of organic growth rather than investing in Google Ads, for example, you'll have to be very patient and very consistent and just turn off your brain, have a clear system of what kind of pain points every single article that you will publish will solve. And basically all the article headlines have to solve a problem that they themselves understand that exists in their service list, or the way they provide services, or quality wise, quantity wise, whatever. And once they cover, well, an agency or a company or a SaaS product, it doesn't matter. Once they cover all the pain points with their blog articles, and they have a good exposure on all the different kinds of questions that may emerge in their target audience when they type something on a search engine, they can already think about decreasing the consistency or the frequency of their posting and of them being active. But until then, they have to kind of do the plan and never look back. I totally agree with you. So my next question actually would be how to conduct a proper keyword research.
Yeah, all right. That's one of the first things, like when let's say a project comes out or you have to work on a product, like you have to conduct keyword research. So basically, just a quick idea for the ones who maybe don't know about it. It's like a process where you identify the keyword topics about which you write your website, which one for ranking for some of the target keywords. Basically, when I think of keyword research, I'm always back up for a moment and think about the following. Like, I try to understand the terms that our target audience is searching for or might search for, let's say, in the near future, right? Sometimes marketers forget to define the target audience first before moving any further. But for me, and I think in the reality, it's critical to know the audience in depth. Want to write the audience to visit our website, right? And basically, for me, keyword research isn't just about finding the keyword list, identifying the keyword difficulty, the volume, but it's about understanding the intent of those keywords, as you also mentioned in the last thoughts, right? And suppose we want to target the audience who wants to learn digital marketing. In this case, we should find like terms like groceries, right? Because it's something that beginner marketers might search for. And besides picking keywords in Ahrefs, for example, I personally go to some communities like Reddit or Facebook, LinkedIn to find out the hot topics that we could write about. Often I apply the reverse engineering method when I say, okay, these are the hot topics that the target audience is talking about. It's hot nowadays. Like, what are the keywords that would work good with this kind of topic? So for sure, it's important to have the list of keywords, let's say, which Ahrefs or SEMrush that SEO tools provide us. But more importantly, it's to understand what the target audience is really talking about, because sometimes, like, there is a 90% chance that they will be the same, but sometimes you are going to find some great opportunities which you can't find in any SEO tool. Yeah, this is basically about how I approach. I know like some SEO experts might start from just getting the lists. It's for sure it's about to provide the best content for our audience. It's super important. You should go to these communities and understand what are the needs of these people, your target audience.
Have you heard of a tool called Answer the Public?
Oh yeah, I did.
Do you use
It's
it?
a really great tool. It's the one that where you could get these questions, right?
Yes.
Basically, it was one of the tools that I would like to mention at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I like to use very much. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I agree totally. In fact, recently we have had a brainstorming call with our content department, and we're just talking about, what else we can cover for a tech company that we work with, and we basically covered all possible different, topics and headlines, whatever objections that we thought that the target audience of this company might have. But once we discovered this tool also the public, we have found out so many different ways that we haven't approached the same topic. And I know there are different definitely companies and niches and industries that are so boring, and when working with them 24/7, ideas just end. At the end of the day, you don't have anything to move with, and that's when this tool onto the public comes to help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, sometimes when we're finding some keyword opportunities, topic opportunities in tools like Ask the Public or Look Like tools, sometimes we can find their volumes in Ahrefs, because there are some questions which might have 10, 20, or max 30 search volume, but these are basically the ones that the business might need the most. So yeah, I totally agree that these tools are really helpful, and any SEO expert, even if there are lots of topics to write about, well, you could use them.
Yeah, agree with you. So my next question will be about tools, and when writing SEO-friendly articles, what kind of tools do you recommend to use before and after the writing? And is there a difference between before and after?
Yeah, so there's a tool called Software SEO, which is really helpful when it comes to understanding how to structure your content, because let's say based on the competitiveness of that keyword of the industry that you're going to write about, for sure it's coming from the topic. It's helping you to structure your content by suggesting, hey, how many times you should use this heading, how many times you should use this keyword. There is a saying that there isn't, the exact number of times that you should mention your keyword right in your article. Anyway, this tool is going to support you in a way that it says, okay, by my research, like each research, right? By my research, I found that if you use this keyword like X times, you're going to have more chances to rank higher than the others. So it's really great tool to use for writers before after, because when you start writing out, it's like going to be your friend and supporter during your writing process. And after you finalize it, you can simply have a look at your score, because it's scoring your content from 0 to 100, and you can easily understand whether your content is ready to go live or it still needs some adjustments. For sure, just general thought about the tools, we don't need to rely 100% on them, because sometimes, there are some things which are not right because they're tools. They are not 100% clever yet as humans. Still, it's that clever. But yeah, anyway, they are supporters. For example, when we talk about Jarvis or some AI-based content creation tools, people say, "Hey, I don't want to make content to be automated." But sometimes, from writer's perspective, when it comes to the place that, hey, you should write about 3 or 4 pieces of articles, content every day, it's becoming really hard, because you need to concentrate all the time. And sometimes, for example, Jarvis or these kind of AI-based tools are keep the ideas on where you could start with. For sure, I don't advise to anyone to just get the content from that and use it like that. But for a start, if you're stuck on somewhere, let's say, it's good to use these kind of tools. Next, I would also recommend using this Yoast SEO, especially for the ones who are using WordPress as their CMS for the blog, because it's again giving you the understanding of hey, how many times you should use this keyword. For example, your keyword is absent in your first paragraph, in heading, meta description. So like, again, supporting you to get the best content. But again, there are some, not useful advices which we just need to skip and move ahead. And the other one was like not writing tool, but Sponsor the Republic, which is actually a really great thing where you could also, include some questions in your articles. And sometimes you might have that award from Google to rank with a feature snippet if you have the right heading structure. So yeah, and like, I don't know, like some content creation tools might help me help. For example, sometimes I suggest writers to use Grammarly 100%, even if they're not native writers, for just making sure that, hey, you didn't
you
miss
have typed right.
Yeah, it's just an extra eye, not a physical person, but just an extra eye on the content.
I have it myself. And even when you're just like writing an email to someone, it's always best to not double check it yourself, because we get super tired just double checking everything that we type. So yeah, Grammarly comes to help in here. In fact, can we say that when it comes to this kind of tools that you have just mentioned, that they've kind of cracked the code of Google algorithm, or it's not possible at all?
Well, for me, like, it's kind of the same question that, hey, is there a secret on how to rank #1 on Google, or it's just the months and years of input that you should, invest in your business to get this, final award in the first place? I would say that isn't a crack, but it's just, a supportive tool set that every person could use for making sure that they didn't miss anything. It's another thing when you have just a few blog articles, you're publishing 1 or 2 per week or 1 or 2 per month, and you're just moving ahead. Your website is small. You can, quickly and lazily manage and optimize all the stuff. When it comes to the websites, which has, thousands of pages, 10,000s of pages, it's kind of super hard to control all these things. So this time, these tool sets come for helping us. And I think, there isn't any drag, but yeah, with these new technologies, they are just here to help us to provide a better, answers to the queries on Google. That's how I think about it.
Okay, I see. So my next question would be actually about traffic. How to drive traffic to your blog article or blog itself?
All right. So I would like to answer to this question by listing some content types which might perform the best even if the website is completely new and it's just starting its own way, in search engines. So let's start from the maybe low-hanging fruits. Like I would like to mention the method of finding the low-hanging fruits in your niche, like keywords. Low keyword difficulty, which means that we could cover the topics in depth and provide the best answers, and we're most likely to rank because they have low volume, their KD is really low, and there are more chances to rank other than to the this juicy keywords, which sometimes don't even provide any value if you even can rank them. So this is also connected to the keyword research, where we shouldn't tackle keywords that have high volumes if we're just starting our website. So it's, this shouldn't look like climbing the hill at once, which can happen because if you try, you will fall, but you need to go step by step. And that's the reason, that's the thing how we should consider filtering the right keywords to generate more traffic strategically. So these are just, this should be done by checking this Answer the Republic, by checking the communities, by checking just Ahrefs to find out the keywords, keyword activities, and also the volumes of the keywords. Next, I would mention this alternative and comparison article content types. These are the ones which are most probable to generate the most conversions if you're in the SaaS industry, and not only, it works for almost all niches. And the reason of it is because people who are looking for some kind of alternatives or want to compare some product, let's say A with B, it means that they're in the final stage of their decision process, right? And the purchase is going to happen shortly, and they are going to kind of finalize their decision very soon. And it is essential to tell the truth when writing about some comparison or, alternative articles, because we don't want to look like in front of Google eyes that, hey, we're just promoting ourselves and all the others are, bad ones, and we don't want you to consider for to the viewer, to our audience. But we should be objective. Our thoughts should be legit, and at the same time we should introduce ourselves somehow. We shouldn't skip that part. And sometimes we marketers think, hey, let's try to be careful. We don't want too much promotion. But sometimes it's getting close to doing your promotion. If that's holistical, sometimes we introduce ourselves in, let's say, spot second, and this is an description. As it was the first one. Okay, it's a good article, but why don't you, introduce yourself a bit better, in a bit, catchy way? Because if someone is coming to your website, they already know that it's you, right?
Yeah.
You're one of the competitors in the list. Anyway, moving forward, there is this listicle type of articles, which really can be considered thinking about driving more traffic. You could, write top tools for solving X problems or similar topics. It's easy to craft because it doesn't require too much resources, too much, research. We just need to find out the top tools and write down in a similar format in our articles. And again, if we start doing this by picking up the low-hanging fruits first, there is a big opportunity to get traffic sooner. Then if we, again, find the keywords where the competition is really good. And another thing, which is like not a content type, but it's actually a method which is really working pretty good. It's about these content updates, content refreshes. Sometimes, we go and publish articles every week, 2, 3, 4, but it comes a day when we say, okay, hey, let's pick up how many articles did we publish for the last quarter, right? Let's say 15. Okay, that's good, but how many are ranking already? There are just 3 or 4 that are ranking, or maybe there are some articles which are sitting already on the second page, but for some reason they are not moving to the first positions. These are called low-hanging fruits when you already have articles published. So for new websites, for sure, businesses need to wait for a bit, at least 2 3 months to make sure that the articles are. It's too small a period, 4 or 5 months at least. To see if the articles are ranking or not. For some established businesses, they should wait like about 1 to 3 months to see if the article is ranking or not. But I would say if you already have some organic traffic coming to your website, and it's a month already that you have written and published the content, it's indexed, but it's not ranking good, go back and start doing the optimization. Because maybe again, it's sitting on the second page, and you just need to update your stats, some visuals, add a video, fix some, loading speed issues, and you're there. The article to go up. This is one of the tactics that isn't, directly connected to driving more traffic, but optimizing whatever you have already, and spending the investment of content to the right direction.
And maybe there are some statistics or numbers that are outdated and are, referring to much older sources, and that can be refreshed too.
Exactly. For sure, stats are being changed like each quarter. So at least 2 times a year to go back and update the content is a really good idea.
I think you have covered mostly everything. The only question I have left is that is there specific length an article on the blog should be and shouldn't exceed otherwise it would rank badly. Is there such a thing?
Well, when it comes to the thing how long the content should be, I go to the SERP and start looking over the first results. Okay, let's say the top 10. Sometimes there are some, cases where longer articles perform better. Sometimes if that's going to happen because you will put there some fluffy content, that's the look like that. If you have more to talk about in your article, then for sure, let's do it. Let's say it's a listicle, you have written top 15 best tools and someone has written, 30 or 40 best tools in this industry. Sometimes you might go up. But basically, if you are already covering the tool set, which is going to be useful for your audience, that's really enough. Yeah, sometimes it's good to provide more if it's a listicle, or if someone else didn't cover the article in depth that you can do, for sure. Go and put more content there. But again, if it's just if it's just 5 times more week length content, it's not going to produce the same results.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so now measuring the effectiveness of an article, what kind of metrics do you have for measuring it?
Yeah, so if we talk from business side, it's just the conversions, like, hey, how many conversions did you generate with this keyword, right? With this landing page or this blog article. So it's business side. When you come to SEO, for sure, it's the clicks that you have got for that specific term to your page, and it's the positioning for sure. Let's say with Ahrefs, whatever tool you are using. So marketers can use some tools, but it's easier to just take, your published articles in a Google spreadsheet, put the positions, and start tracking those on a weekly basis. We do that every week because we find that that's helping us not to lose something. Beyond track, make sure that if we are having some drops for some of our articles, for some of our keywords, we're late more than 1 week. Right? It's not more than that. We're not late more than 1 week. Like we're there and we're fixing all the issues. And the other scenario works as well. If we had some good increase, some good spike in traffic, we should definitely, take momentum and understand what was the reason of that spike and start pushing it more and more so we don't lose that opportunity. Basically, traffic, positions. For sure, there are some other metrics like bounce rate and the other stuff, but for clicks, you should get conversions. Or like if you're not getting conversions, there could be some other reasons for sure, intent, the other one. But if we talk about the KPIs, we usually track these 2-3 KPIs the most. Also, we have the concentration. It's also one of the reasons. So we don't use too many.
Yeah. In fact, I have a question about decision making when it comes to looking at the metrics. Do you usually share it with the client for whom you are running the SEO? Do you make a mutual decision, or it's solely kind of decided?
Yeah, we share it for showing up the performance. Like we're not afraid of showing the bad sides as well, because that's not always, it's not going to grow all the time. There is some seasonality thing, there are some Google algorithm updates which are just hitting the website even if you're like optimized 99 or 100% from the technical perspective. But yeah, anyway, we just share it, we keep track of it every week, and we make sure that our quarterly goals, we are meeting them, and if not, what were the reasons, and we're just summarizing that every week and every month to make sure that something is being missed out.
Before we move forward, if you don't mind, I have a question. What do you think about affiliate links in blog articles? Usually, these affiliate collaborations are being created, I would say, by PR department or with PR outreaches. Then they just forward, these affiliate partnerships to the SEO team, and they insert the right links in their articles. Have you done any affiliate marketing integrated in your SEO strategy? And if yes, what is your overall opinion about the institution?
Yeah, so we've done affiliate marketing in the past, and this is like my approach and how I think we should, like as marketers, consider when it comes to deciding whether this affiliate website is good or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is the website about? Is it just a blog which is covering only affiliate links? Just covering only articles where they put affiliate links and they try to make money with that. Then moving forward, what is the spam score of this website? Whether there are some SEO metrics. So if we are checking all these metrics and all the things, we see that things are good. The website is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a SaaS product, which also offers some affiliate program. Like why not?
Mm-hmm.
There is, for sure, there are some spammy websites which we don't need to put anywhere because they're going to be bad for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we also don't want to, mess up and put lots of links in our blog articles. That's also not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep the balance. And if the website has a good affiliate program and the website is just good, no big banners which are popping up on your face,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
If also that's from your marketing goals.
Yeah. In fact, recently I have come across to this new phenomenon where affiliate marketing is not just performed for monetary purposes or, as an income, but kind of a collaboration between different blogs that if you want exposure from others blogs and websites and kind of traffic from other sources, you can offer the same to them. Like it's like cross linking each other without any monetary expectations. And yeah, I haven't tried it. Actually, this is something new. I have never tried it, though I have recently received some offers from such companies, and it was quite new to me. That's why I'm asking.
I see. Yeah. Just it should be, filtered with all these checks. And if everything is good, I would say why not to do 1 or 2 per month.
Mm.
Not more than that if you have like just a few articles going out every month, but 1, 2 won't hurt anyone. Again, that's something that both sides has interest.
Yeah, agree. Okay, now that we have covered performance effectiveness and the metrics to check it, tell us realistically how long will it be after publishing the article that we can expect to see results in SEO?
Yeah, this is something that no one has the right answer because we have cases where the articles after publishing went to the first page like in just a few hours. We had a case where we updated an article, just did a content refresh, like the same evening it went to the third position with for a high competitive keyword with volume of about 30,000 or something. Then we had cases where the articles just stay there for 3 or 4 months and they just don't even show up in any position. It's happening all the time. Like there's several cases, but if we just try to say, okay, if you have written a new article, published it, your website SEO state is really good, you don't have any SEO issues, okay, it's going to take about 2 per month, even if it's an established website, so the article will go up. It should be the maximum for the waiting period. You can publish that and it's not going to anywhere. You can simply, start optimizing it, checking the intent once again, trying to understand what others are doing better than you because there is something that wasn't done in the right way.
Yeah. Right.
And for, newly established, it could take, 5, 6 months, but it doesn't mean that business owners should stop investing there. It's going to pay off later. So yeah, it's a tough, it's a tough period and it's a decision for business owners as well. But again, as I mentioned in the beginning of our discussion, once it starts to show up, they start to see that the traffic is being generated not for free, but they didn't pay, let's say, to any advertising platform like Google or something, but it's generated again, which is a sweet thing.
If the creative director, let's say, decided to put together performance marketing and SEO strategy, how SEO team is involved in performance marketing, and how do they collaborate? If yes, if they are if they are involved in the process, how they are involved? Do they show direction on what kind of banners to be used when doing Google Ads, or what kind of copies to be used, and what kind of targets, if it's about keyword research, if it's display advertisement? Just tell us about this process.
Yeah, anyway, whether they work together or they don't, it's good to share experience inside the team, so everyone knows like which worked for some team, let's say the SEO team, and which work for which methods work for the, let's say, Google Ads team or performance marketing team. So when it comes to giving some suggestions, I wouldn't say that it's that much important, because sometimes the same traffic which is coming through paid ads and the same traffic which is coming organically, let's say if you put ads on the same keyword or on the same phrases or similar topics, the traffic behavior is really different. There is no specific answer to why it's happening, but sometimes the results, we assume that the traffic is the same. The results are different. And SEO team suggestions might not be, the case where the performance marketing team should consider. But for sure, let's say if the SEO team wants to rank for some keyword and someone is placing some Google ads on that keyword while the organic positions will move up, it's good to see how that traffic is performing. Okay, so without going to the first spot or to the first page of Google, the SEO team can understand, at least to get some basic data on how the traffic which is coming even from the paid ads, what kind of performance is that audience having. That's something where they could work together, but more than that, I think it's just going to be a bit hard for both sides, because I think the other way, I think only organic way. So yeah, it's for sure, knowledge sharing is a good thing, so where it's needed.
Yeah. Okay. Now, which is more suitable for starting a website? To start with a specific niche, or a website that covers diversified topics like news magazine? So basically the question is it better to be the best in a small niche, or no one in a general niche?
Yeah, for sure. The first one, like to be an authority in small niche, because it's going to help you to be a bigger authority in a bigger niche. Because if you try to do like 10 things at once and try to rank for 10 different topics, I'm not saying for keywords, but topics, it's going to take more time, more resources and efforts from your overall team, rather if you just go and pick one niche and start to be the best there. Once you're the best there, once you have all these opportunities, for sure the business can think about moving forward to the other. So if it's a news website, or other if it's some advice or marketing website like a magazine, yeah, well, they could cover a lot of things. It doesn't matter. But if you have a product, let's say for a SaaS company, then you should definitely be best in one area and then move forward to the others. Because also let's say if you're a good video making platform and you have decided to create another, I don't know, email marketing tool, yeah, that's good. But you still need to understand that Google authorizes you as a video making platform. It's going to be super hard to be the other authority. But the answer is, yeah, just it need to be prioritized, also coming from the business side.
Yeah, but the way I've noticed the same thing about our agency, for example, as well. We are a digital marketing agency providing like a huge list of different services. But when it comes to attracting a client or being interesting to a specific customer, the only thing that works is being interesting to them in one niche. And the way it can be done, it differs from company to company, of course. There are companies who differentiate themselves with blog articles. There are ones who just create different portfolios and send the portfolios, specific portfolios in one niche, in one specific service to their prospects. But there can be webinars, there can be podcasts, whatever it is. But the message is one. If you want to showcase your intelligence, your knowledgeability in one specific niche, you have to talk about it and not mix it with others at the same time.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Um, well, I would just say whenever thinking about SEO content, just don't start with keyword research. Yeah, don't start with that. Just start understanding who you are going to do anything for. Like, is it a teacher? Is it an executive director you're write article for? Because content writer, let's say, doesn't understand who that person is, or the SEO specialist doesn't know who that person is, what kind of social posts, let's say, they should put in their landing pages or in blog articles. It's not going to work out. Yeah, you might rank for some keywords, but it's not going to be the final definition of the right SEO. No, that should be done starting from knowing the audience 100%.
Yeah.
Then know all the other SEO rules that should be followed. Yeah, I would always say that. The others are covered.
Yeah. By the way, I have at hand a very nice bio persona document, and if as someone who's watching right now is interested in receiving one for free, you can just message me right after our webinar, and I will send it to you, and you can print it out, just fill it out yourself, and figure out who your target audience is. And should you also be interested in SEO more in an advanced way, or be interested in SEO services, you can also contact me or Roman, and we will take care of your SEO strategy and do our best to rank you as higher as possible on search engines. Thank you, Roman. It was my pleasure. I hope this is not the last time.
Yeah, it was an interesting discussion. Thank you as well, Susanna, for inviting me. And yeah, we hope that the discussion was useful. If there would be any questions, yeah, feel free to drop a message on LinkedIn. We would be happy to answer them.
Yeah, we'll do our best. So thank you for watching us. See you next week. Bye-bye.